This particular presentation covers the process for doing an OCM, or organizational change management process, and I will talk through some of the various stages in that process and what I have gained from this particular class as well as it relates to that process. The objective here again is to outline the change process for a project, understanding what hype cycle is about, also understanding the importance of communication during the change process, identifying effective tools for use during an OCM process, and how to recognize risk and manage that risk. This has been one of the most helpful piece of information for me as it relates to this project. The particular chart that we're looking at here, what gives you an overview, begins by showing you the stages of awareness, understanding, implementation, and post-implementation of the entire project. The other view or another way of representing this chart in a project is pretty much this way, where you see the awareness, the understanding, the readiness, and the post-implementation. During those different stages, it is interesting to note that there's an information collection that carries on throughout each of those stages, and the OCM strategy is being looked at. Particularly like this view, it's laid out very good, and I think it's very helpful. This one that I will keep using as I move forward doing OCM projects. Awareness is at that point where we don't know all the details as yet in the project. Here is where a vision and a mission statement is being developed, knowing where you're going, where you want to go, having a clear vision, clear mission statement, one that is easily understood should be developed at this point. Your stakeholder assessment is being made here as well, determining who will be impacted, how they will be impacted by the particular change. Sponsorship, important at this phase. You want to have a sponsor who is going to be behind the project, someone visible, someone who will be vocal, who will be represented as the individual backing the change initiative or individuals. And an executive presence, meaning that those who are in leadership position are pretty much on board, indicating that they are on board with the change. At this point, you want to communicate what's happening, why it's happening, when it's happening, and you're developing your OCM strategies at this point. In the awareness stage, I like to think that hype should be understood. The hype cycle, pretty much research done by Gartner, helps you determine where technology is within the hype cycle. As you can notice, there's a peak and then there's a drop, kind of a sharp rise and a sharp drop. Then it begins to rise again and levels off. Most companies or organizations come into that particular cycle when it's at this stage of the phase where it's leveling off. You don't want to get in too early just because of the hype. However, you don't want to ignore it because the technology may fail because it did not live up to all the expectations. More importantly, you want to determine the needs of the organization before you go forward with that. The other thing that's available, or that I thought would be helpful, are tools during each stage. And here is the awareness tools that you can use. You want to develop your OCM roadmap, which is a template that guides you through the process. One application that works well for this is mind mapping. I've played with it a little. Find it interesting. It can be downloaded for a 30-day trial to help you guide your process. Change impact spreadsheet is a good tool to have as well. The stakeholders resistance and OCM risk analysis process should be in place. We'll talk to that again, as well as having a communication plan in place. Communication is very important during the OCM process. You cannot communicate too much, So it's very important to have that available. Understanding phase is pretty much where we know in general how things will work. By now we should have a definitive vision statement, one that's easily communicated, easy to understand, easy to explain. Your communication must be copious at this point, lots of communication, sending out the message about the change and how it is going to take place and what it is going to impact. There's several means of communicating that you want to make certain you make use of. At this point, you also want to celebrate any major breakthrough, any milestones in the project that has been successful. Celebrate those. Communicate what you know up to date and help to get understanding from your stakeholders. At this point, know what their perception is also. Tools can be used there. Support team charts, stakeholder interviews, and short surveys are helpful. Newsworthy and rumor controlled messages. You want to make certain that whatever rumors are out there, that it is controlled, that it is explained and talked to. And your project team again will celebrate the major milestone for making a specific achievement in the project, and it's demonstrated. Implementation readiness, pretty much we know in detail how things will work. We're ready for training, we'll execute training, we will communicate changes here again. Your early adopters, you want to identify them during this process, use their enthusiasm to move the project forward and move the change initiative forward. Having your one-on-ones, your face-to-face with your individuals and your stakeholders, help them learn the details about what is changing and about how everything will work. Tools that can be used there, your sandbox system, have some place that they can play around safely and understand the technology or the change. Have job aids and a support network where individuals can come together and discuss what is difficult about the change or adapting for them, have a knowledge base of frequently asked questions, etc. And you also want to do a readiness assessment at this point also, and you want to have your support team ready for the go live meeting. Post implementation is, we know what is happening, we know there's going to be a learning curve, so at this point you will be conducting that type of an evaluation. Also, you want to know what's going on. Measuring your KPIs is also a good way to do that. And you're providing support here, helping your end users develop a higher level of proficiency and acceptance here during this stage. Your post-implementation tools pretty much will be asking questions, doing surveys, doing tracking, etc. Providing job aids again for those who may be having problems coming along or understanding the change. Do special help sessions with topical classes. Also, post-implementation sustainability plan, you should have one in place as well. Key here, one of the key takeaways from this class for me is the risk management portion of this. One has to have a good risk management in place to be able to move their project forward or the change process forward. It's usually resisted for many reasons. Max Neef has a model, and it's good to understand these human factors that can impact your change initiative. There are some of the basic needs of humans, and when a change is being instituted, if it is going to impact any of these, they pretty much are going to show some resistance, subsistence. Individuals want to have their basic needs met. If a change impacts that, you may see resistance. Protection, they want to know they'll be safe. People are worried when a change comes about. Am I going to lose my job? So you want to be able to make sure that they feel safe. Affection, people want to be appreciated and recognized. They don't want a change to squeeze them out of what they are doing, what they have been known to be able to do and been recognized for. So you need to keep showing appreciation during the change process and recognizing the talents. Understanding, people need to know what they need to do, what is required of them. It must be clear. Here again is where your communication is important. and your mission statement and vision is very clearly outlined. Participation also, they want to be a part, so do not ostracize, do not let people feel as though they're not part of the change process, they're not involved. If you can even help them feel as though or see that they are the ones who are bringing about this change, it's good to see that they're being a part of it. Leisure also, people don't want to change to bring crisis in their life and stress. They want to know that the change is not going to impact their moments of relaxation, etc. Then you'll see resistance if they think it will. They also want to be able to be creative, so allow them to exercise their creativity. Also, they want to maintain their core values that's associated with identity. People want to know that they will not be losing their core values in the process. And also they want to know that they're not being forced to do anything that's against their will. So you do have to bring individuals along during the change process, help them to have a sense of freedom. If not, you will see resistance. There are some tools to help with risk management. Resistance and OCM risk analysis process, taking that through that, formulating a good risk analysis, understanding who your stakeholders are, and what would be the different groups that you will impact, and how they will be impacted, knowing how many will be impacted, break it out so that you can understand who is going to be affected. Then you want to determine what level of risk is going to risk resistance, what level of resistance you will find from different groups. Identify those so that you can mitigate those risks. And also you want to develop or find a risk assessment template that will work for you. Many have been provided by Don during the course of these lectures of this class. Also, you can utilize those. Excellent book to utilize is John Cotter's Leading Change. A good tool as well to help you in your change process. Hopefully this helps. These are kind of the takeaways that I have gained from this particular course that I think would be very helpful to me going forward.